Hello everybody, Happy New Year. So, apologize, it's quite a while that I not been in the lab. My daily business and holiday seasons and things like that kept me far away from the lab. I just came shortly some moment to switch on some instruments and so forth. So, well, there are many many projects to be finished and many to be started, and I made some good progress in the FR4 project and the ARN7 compass radio compass set, but that will be in the next videos shortly. So in this episode I'm going to unwrap this instrument that was in my wish list for a long time. So let me open it up and see what it is inside. Well, as title has spoiled, this is a 3325 function generator. Is an HP, clearly. The unit is in rough shape and declared as non-functioning. Declared as complete but not functioning. The price were very cheap, around less than €100 shipped, so good price, but you know, might be completely a wastage. By the way, this unit has the high voltage option that allow to produce up to 60 volt peak to peak on a load over 500 ohms, and so it is synthesized, so it's quite precise and very famous instrument. I have the 3324A, which is right over there, but does not have this option to have up to 60 volt peak to peak. So let's open it up, see how it's inside. This is the back of the instrument. It's again in rough shape. Fan, well, it seems almost free. It's missing the air filter that for sure has allowed debris and dusty to get in. Sticker of Agilent Technologies, due in 2000. Not sure if it's only safety check or if it's also calibration. By the way, let's see if I'm able to do with one hand. Seems not. So let me do with two hands. Clearly the problem here is this sliding groove, which is bent and prevent the upper cover to be slided out. Very, very tight. So clearly it's missing the handle plastic covers here. Let's see. Okay. So not too bad. Yeah, a lot of dusty here, as expected. Clearly here we have the main power supply Then we have digital section 5 volt. I'm not entirely sure yet if all this section is supplied by this, or it's also supplied partially from here. Here we have 3 voltages, minus 15, plus 5, and plus 15. Here we have these two blue wires bring AC voltage, and here we have the regulator and again 5 volts. This is the HPIB section, which is isolated. So to check this voltage must be referred to the relative ground. But all in all, it's not too bad. So let's flip it over and see the bottom. This is the signal generation with the synthesizer functions. So let's see the bottom side. Okay, I've just removed the bottom cover where there are this dusty sign coming from the blower here, from the fan. But this, I'm not quite sure what it is. But I don't see any nasty signs over there. So perhaps nothing serious. By the way, this unit doesn't have the 10 megahertz overnight reference oscillator, which is not a real problem for me. And by the way, we should also have another power supply, which probably is over there, which is the minus 30 and plus 30 volt that feed the high voltage output section that I assume that is this one. I am not yet checked the manual. So let's make some room here and see how proceed. I have watched some videos to try to understand if there are any kind of common failures for this unit. It seems that those two capacitors are often leaky, and before I go ahead and try to power it up, I think I will remove this board and check. Also this connector here, it's lining a bit. It's leaning on the left side here, and I don't like it. So better I check before to try to power it up. And by the way, I believe that the seller has tried to power it on, and yeah, we don't have screws here. Perhaps we have some problem in the front panel. Let's see. And while I was moving the instrument, I noted that there is one coaxial cable removed, and it's labeled as amp out. So that, oh, also another one here. I wonder if there is something missing. Or perhaps in the front panel. All right, yeah. Sorry for the movement. But yes, there are the plugs that are going to the front panel B and C that confirm that we might have some problem in the front panel, the display board, maybe. So let's go ahead with the check of the power supply and go ahead from there. Well, I actually changed my mind. Since there was no screws, I decided to open the front panel and the keyboard PCB removed. So clearly somebody has been in and has removed these bolts. There is something wrong here. Seems that this is lifted from the bottom, this not. So let's see. Well, clearly here there is a damage. There is a very bulging place around the BNC here. So I need to remove everything and see if we can straighten out. And hopefully we'll not find any broken trace or PCB damage. And for the moment, seems not. And another thing that I have noted is that the power switch, it's connected directly to the PCB, so I believe that the control line is in this socket. So hopefully that was connected correctly, otherwise can of course prevent to work and possibly get some damage to the main board. This is how it ended up. There are bits of plastic rims that belong to the BNC. I also found this lens that I believe its place is here, and the other two seems fine. It's a very weird damage because affected only the rear side of the panel. Front panel is perfect, almost. So okay, let's try to straighten it up. Well, it came up pretty fine, so should be enough. It's time to a good cleaning. And I also want to try to retrobrite these buttons here. So I wonder if it will worth it. However, I will remove all the buttons, clean all the contact over there, which they are prone to oxidize and stop to work. I will check one by one. So let's give a bath to the buttons and clean to the contacts. And while I'm here, I also will check this electrolytic. And just for comparison, this is how it is before the cleaning. Well, just the cleaning, washing has already improved a lot the look of the front panel. So let's move on to the keyboard itself. Oh boy, the removal of these buttons from the contacts is very, very difficult. They are so sticky. They are almost like glued on the stud here. So it's very, very difficult. By the way, slowly I'm removing one by one, soaking this soapy water, and hopefully I will be able to remove all of those without damage any of the contact. And as you can see, if you can hear, they are sometimes very bumping. I have sprayed on those the contact cleaner and they are very smooth now. Well, as I was scared about, one of the contact has been pulled out from its place. Luckily it's not broken, so I had to completely dismantle the contact in order to reinstall the plastic stud here. So let's try to reassembly. And by the way, I have removed the bottom plastic melted head as on the other contacts, and it is right here. So hopefully I can reassembly without any further damage. Well, indeed, I've been able to reassembly very fragile spring leaf. By the way, I've been able to reassembly, so need just to add this additional spring leaf. Yes, and eventually complete. So I can now remount in its place, but before that I will go to the board cleaning. The push buttons are soaking second times, but clearly buttons are pretty much yellowed. So the idea is to try to retrobrite them. So let's put those in the peroxide, and while they will make the retrobriting process, we will go ahead with the power supply check. Onto the power supply, and I just now have seen that I'm afraid that here we have a neckage, and that seems to be onto the power transformer connection, and I don't believe this is factory. And moreover, it's set to 120 volt, which is quite strange, since it was located in an area where leaves 230 volts. So I'm a bit scared about the power transformer, so I will go directly to its check, main fuse and so forth, because there is something that is not clear here. I've just unbolt the main fuse. Let's put on the continuity mode. Let's try with one hand, not easy. Unfortunately, I still need to replace my camera holder. By the way, fuse is okay, that is a good sign. So let's test. And by the way, this transformer, it is always connected to the line, and yeah, it's a soft switch, so we have always the primary section of the main transformer connected to the line. So let's see which kind of measure we have here. And indeed, 32 ohms, 33 almost. Well, the removal of this board is not really easy. There are some wires that must be unsoldered. However, I have just noted that this, what appeared to be a diode, probably a dual diode, there is some bulging back there, and I see also some metal blasting coming from inside. So I'm afraid that we have faulty components. And by the way, I've already removed one capacitor. It reads a bit lower than expected, so it's 1.8 thousand microfarad instead of 2200. Unfortunately, I have just one replacement for those. There is another one here, so I will test also that, and I also will remove the diode and check it. But I'm afraid we have a problem there. Well, that actually, what I thought to be a dual diode is a triac, and it's meant to be the crowbar of the low voltage rail, and seems that it is almost exploded, and I'm afraid that some mistakes were made here, and that has damaged the circuit, the crowbar circuit. So for sure for over voltage, and moreover here still is at 100 volts. So I'm not sure if we have both mistakes or just in the setting. Well, looking on the net, I found some videos and pictures, and appeared that those wires are correct, are correctly positioned. So I wonder if we just have this problem. Well, actually, looking at the power transformer doesn't look good either. Perhaps it's baked? Hopefully not. Well, luckily, nor the primary neither the secondary section of the transformer has leakage versus ground. So at least we don't have a completely blown out winding. However, this doesn't mean that the transformer still is good, since it might be shorted between some sections on the primary or in the secondary or in both. So let's see. So primary comprises two windings. One is 2 wires, and it's in this point, and it's reading 17.8, and the other side noisy with one end is 14 ohms here and 16.7. Well, actually this is voltage adjustments, and both in parallel gives 110 and in series 220 or 230 with this section here. So this appeared to be good, no shorts, but clearly this can be just confirmed when plugged into the mains. So yeah, moment of truth about that. Well, I think it's not necessary to test it. It's split in 2 parts in the back here, and yeah, that's absolutely blown out. So I need to find the replacement for that. Well, clearly measure as broken. Direct replacement of this, which is 2N6400. I didn't find the exact replacement, but I found more modern and equivalent. It is rated a bit higher voltage. This is rated at 100 volts, and the one that I found is 400 volts. It will take some days to come here, doesn't matter, as well as new capacitors. I also have ordered the 8200 microfarad capacitor, which is right here. Still is good, but this instrument will become part of the laboratory, so I want to install at least in the primary power supply section fresh capacitors. Meanwhile, I have finished the retrobrighting process of push buttons. Good improvement, not perfect, but good enough. So let's put those in place and see the final result. How it looks like after the reassembly. The feeling is very, very nice. So let's assemble onto the front panel. Quite a huge improvement, and the starting point were very bad. So you will see the difference before and after now. At this point I'm stuck because of the waiting of the parts. So I think I will stop this video now, and I will go back to the old projects that are waiting to be stepped ahead. So thank you very much for watching, and see you very soon.